welcome.
Hi, my name is Zach DeBoer. I'm the Vice Chair of the city's Visual Arts Commission, and I live in the Central District. It is my belief that as our city continues to grow, the need for individual district representation on our Parks and Recreation Board is necessary. Sioux Falls is home to over 80 public parks, 29 miles of bike trails, 8 public pools, and 3 city-owned golf courses. Last month, I attended the Parks and Recreation Board meeting where this district ordinance was presented. During public input, I asked the board if any of them had been to all 80 parks, biked all 29 miles, swam in all 8 pools, or golfed on all 3 courses. Of course, the answer was no. It's unrealistic to expect each member of the Parks Board to have a full knowledge of each one of these facilities. The people who understand our neighborhood parks best are the people that live near them. They walk through them every day, they bring their kids there, take their dogs for walks, they play basketball, horseshoes, tag, hide and seek in those parks. They know them better than anyone else ever could. I've heard the phrase, if it's not broke, don't fix it, a lot while we talk about this. I've always hated that saying. It's one step away from that's the way we've always done it. I believe we should always be looking for ways to improve our city, and I believe this ordinance offers us the chance to do that. Imagine this, it's 2019, a new member is selected to join the Parks Board to represent the Northeast District. During their first meeting, they'd be handed a packet of orientation materials, including a list of parks and parks facilities that lie within their district. They would then be tasked with physically visiting these places to gain a greater understanding of those individual parks' needs. Because they live within that district, their knowledge of not only the parks, but the schools, the roads, the neighborhoods that surround them would only bring greater insight to the discussion and decision-making process. City Hall claims that filling city board vacancies is challenging, and that by adding this criteria to the selection process would only make it more difficult. Now, that might be true of some or most of the city boards, but this is the Parks and Recreation Board we're talking about. It's not the Plumbing Board of Appeals and Examiners or the Solid Waste Planning Board. No offense if any of them are in the room. The Parks Board is popular and it's competitive. It's a board people want to be a part of. When was the last time there was an extended vacancy on the Parks Board? There isn't a shortage of applicants now, and there certainly won't be by the time the last term of the current board members ends in 2027, when the population of Sioux Falls is expected to grow by 50,000 people. Now, it's true this would be the only board that would have district-specific requirements, but most of the 42 other boards do have member-specific requirements. For example, the Visual Arts Commission, the commission I serve on, requires 1 practicing artist and 1 member of the Sioux Falls Arts Council's Board of Directors to make up their 7-member group. The Business Improvement District Board, the BID Board, they require that 3 of its members be owners of property within the BID district, 1 of which must be assessed the maximum amount. At least 1 member should be a district resident, 1 member must operate a business within that district, and at least 1 member should represent DTSF's Board of Directors. Those are very specific qualifications that need to be met, and the potential pool of applicants is much smaller than those that would be found in each district. For example, there are around 1,800 people that live within the Business Improvement District, whereas the Northeastern District is home to about 34,000 citizens. The Parks and Recreation Board has no special qualifications for their membership. The suggestion that creating park districts could create turf wars, to me, is a little disrespectful and maybe a little touch of fear-mongering. In front of me, there are 8 city councilors, 5 of which represent a single district in our city. Do we accuse them of making decisions based only on the benefit of their district? No, of course not. They make their decisions for the good of the entire city, while still being attuned to the specific needs of their districts. The Parks Board would operate in the same manner. Now, I don't believe that the current or past Parks Board plays favorites or makes their decisions based on their geographic location in any way. I haven't seen any indication or evidence to suggest otherwise. I also know that parks are all on a cyclical and scheduled update plan and receive equal attention. The work that our Parks and Rec Department and the Parks and Rec Board does is phenomenal and is amongst the best in the country, as proven by their CAPRA accreditation. That's something to be incredibly proud of. It's important to understand that this ordinance isn't to rectify any misdeeds or mistakes made by this board. Rather, this ordinance would offer the Parks Board even greater perspectives and insight into the work that they do. I know most of you already made up your decision on how you're going to vote tonight, but I would urge you to listen to the people that are here to speak in favor of this ordinance. This minor change to the makeup of the future Parks and Recreation Board would ensure that as our city continues to grow, all of our parks, neighborhoods, and citizens are represented and have a voice. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
I keep coming back to what are we trying to fix? What are we trying to fix? Does it matter? You know, there are boards that have, you know, Zach made a great point. You know, we give guidelines to the bid board. We give guidelines to having experts on REMSA. We have guidelines for all different kinds of boards. This is really no different.
And the bottom line for me is we can always make things better. I wish the discussion would have stopped after Zach's comments earlier tonight. I think we might have had a better chance of getting this passed when all said and done. But I'm going to support this because I want to see us continue to improve and make Sioux Falls a better place.